What if the only thing standing between you and the life you've been praying for is the belief that you can't have it? What if the mountain in your way is not the size of the challenge, but the size of your doubt? What if the dream in your heart isn't asking, "Are you ready?" but whispering, "What if you can?" Ladies and gentlemen, I came to tell you today, the moment you dare to answer that question, your entire life will shift. You see, too many of us are imprisoned by emotions that don't belong to us. We're tied to people's opinions, bound by the fear of failure, paralyzed by the weight of rejection. But hear me clearly. The moment you detach yourself from needing their approval, needing their applause, needing their validation, you step into the freedom of knowing who you are. Strength isn't found in how tightly you hold on. It's found in how boldly you can let go. You are not what you lost. You are not the mistake you made. You are not the rejection you faced. You are the seed of greatness placed here with a divine assignment. And when you stop clinging to what drains you, you make space for what is meant to grow you. What if you can rise again after being broken? What if you can walk away from that pain and step into peace? What if you can silence the noise of doubt and finally hear the sound of your own purpose calling your name? Confidence isn't about standing in the room and hoping people see you. Confidence is walking into that room already knowing you belong there, even if no one else believes it. That kind of confidence comes when you detach yourself from the opinions of others and anchor yourself to the truth that God has already approved you. Let me tell you something. Peace is not weakness. Peace is power. When everything around you is shaking and you're still standing firm, when storms rage and you keep your calm, that's not weakness. That's spiritual authority. That's a soul that has detached from the chaos and anchored itself in purpose. Too many dreams have died at the altar of people's opinions. Too many visions have been buried under the soil of fear. But the moment you say, "I don't need their permission, I just need my conviction," you break free. Purpose does not need a crowd. Purpose needs courage. And I want you to ask yourself right now, what if I can, folks? What if I can start again at 40? What if I can build again after the divorce? What if I can rise again after bankruptcy? What if I can forgive myself and move forward? What if I can? See, resilience is born in detachment. When you stop tying your future to a temporary setback, you rise stronger. You don't collapse when life throws you down. You adapt, you evolve, you rise. You stop saying, "Why me?" and you start saying, "Try me." Your breakthrough is not waiting on the world to approve you. It is waiting on you to believe one thing. What if I can? So today I challenge you, detach from the weight of fear. Detach from the grip of doubt. Detach from the chains of people's opinions and step boldly into your purpose, because the truth is you can. And the world is waiting for the moment you finally believe and leave it. Expansion of key point 1 in 6 long paragraphs. Clarity is the gift that comes when you learn how to let go. Most people walk through life clouded, not because their vision is weak, but because their attachments are heavy. They hold on to fear, to guilt, to people who have already walked out of their destiny. And because of that, they can't see the opportunities right in front of them. But when you detach, when you release what is not serving your higher calling, suddenly the fog lifts. Suddenly you see not just what is, but what could be. That is clarity. That is vision sharpened by freedom. See, confusion is often not a lack of direction. It's an overflow of noise. The world is loud. Opinions are loud. Doubt is loud. No, doubt is loud. And if you attach yourself to every voice that speaks, you will lose the sound of your own calling. Detachment silences the noise. Detachment allows you to say, "I don't need to carry their expectations. I don't need to be chained to their definition of success." When you strip all of that away, you begin to see the path that was carved for you alone. And that path is lit not by the crowd's approval, but by divine clarity. Think about it. A river does not flow clearly until the mud settles, and your life will not flow with purpose until your soul settles. Emotional and spiritual detachment is how you allow the mud to sink. It is how you quiet the chaos so that you can finally hear the whisper of direction within. People miss opportunities not because they don't exist, but because they're too attached to distractions to recognize them. Detachment clears the water. Detachment clears the mind. Detachment clears the heart. And let me tell you, clarity is power. When you see clearly, you move boldly. You stop second-guessing yourself because your steps are ordered. You stop begging for signs because you become the sign. You stop being tossed back and forth by emotions because you've detached from the storm and locked your vision on the shore. Clarity makes you decisive. Clarity makes you courageous, and clarity makes you unstoppable. But don't miss this. Detachment is not coldness. It is strength. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop clinging. It means you understand that your value is not tied to anyone's acceptance, and your destiny is not held hostage by anyone's rejection. When you detach, you say, I love, but I will not lose myself in you. I care, but I will not collapse if you leave. I try, but I will not die if I fail. That is not weakness. That is wisdom. That is clarity born from courage. So the question becomes, what would your life look like if you stopped holding on so tight to what blinds you? What visions would come alive if you stopped attaching your worth to their approval? What possibilities would unfold if you simply asked, oh, what if I can see clearly? What if I can walk in clarity? Because the truth is you can, and the moment you detach, you will. Expansion of key point 2 in 6 paragraphs. Most people think strength is measured by how long you can endure holding on. They think it's heroic to cling to something that's already breaking them. But let me tell you, true strength is not in the grip, it's in the release. It takes more courage to let go of what's killing your peace than to keep dragging it along. Some of you are tired, not because you're weak, but because you're carrying what God already told you to set down. The weight is not proving your strength. It's draining your soul. Letting go does not mean you gave up. It means you finally woke up. It means you realized you were holding on to something that was holding you back. You can't walk into your future while your hands are chained to your past. You can't embrace the new when you're still gripping the old. Letting go is not the end. It's the beginning of clarity, freedom, and renewal. And it takes a strong spirit to release what the flesh still craves. There is a power in release that most people never discover. When you let go of toxic people, you create space for divine connections. When you let go of old habits, you create room for discipline and excellence. Oh! When you let go of fear, you create an atmosphere where courage can breathe. The act of letting go is not subtraction, it's multiplication. You're not losing, you're making space for what's greater. But here's the danger. The longer you hold on to what's hurting you, the deeper the roots of attachment grow. And the enemy of your soul wants you to confuse attachment with love, comfort with purpose, survival with success. But strength is when you say, I refuse to stay bound to what does not build me. I refuse to worship what wounds me. I refuse to hold on when letting go is my liberation. That declaration is strength in its purest form. I want you to understand this. Every time you let go of something that no longer serves your destiny, you rise a little higher. You walk a little freer. You breathe a little deeper. Strength is not proven by your scars alone, but by your ability to heal. And healing begins the moment you release what broke you. So ask yourself right now, what am I still holding on to that I need to let go of? What bitterness, what fear, what relationship, what memory, what guilt? Because if you dare to let it go, you'll discover that strength was never about how tight your grip was. Strength was always about how bold your release would be. Expansion of key point 3 in 6 paragraphs. Confidence does not come from forcing yourself to believe you are enough. It comes from aligning your life with who you were created to be. When your actions match your assignment, when your choices reflect your calling, when your steps are in rhythm with your spirit, you don't need to convince yourself of your worth. You know it. Confidence is the fruit of alignment. It's not manufactured in the mind. It's born in the soul that has said yes to its purpose. Most people struggle with confidence because they are living out of sync. They are chasing dreams that don't belong to them. pursuing approval that doesn't serve them, and clinging to identities that don't define them. And so they live exhausted, insecure, and doubting. But when you align yourself with your true identity, when you detach from what's fake and embrace what's real, confidence rises naturally. You stop trying to become and you simply be. When you are aligned, you walk into rooms differently. You don't shrink when you see the competition. You shine because you know you carry something only you can bring. You don't beg for a seat at the table. You recognize that you are the table, that you carry a divine assignment that no one can duplicate. And that's when confidence stops being performance and starts being presence. Think of a musical instrument. When it's out of tune, every note feels strained. But when it's aligned, the sound flows effortlessly. That's you. When your life is out of tune with your values, your calling, your faith, every move feels heavy. But when you align with purpose, your confidence flows like music, unforced, unstoppable, undeniable. People will hear it in your voice, see it in your eyes, and feel it in your presence. Alignment also removes the need for validation. Because when you are aligned, you don't measure your worth by applause, likes, or recognition. You already know you're enough because you're walking in your assignment. You're not trying to prove yourself. You're expressing yourself. Confidence that comes from alignment doesn't beg to be seen. It cannot be ignored. So ask yourself, am I aligned or am I pretending? Am I walking in my calling or am I chasing someone else's? Because the moment you step into alignment, you won't have to search for confidence. It will find you. And when confidence flows from alignment, you don't just walk with boldness, you walk with authority. Expansion of key point 4 in 6 paragraphs. Creativity cannot breathe where fear is choking the air. And fear always grows in the soil of attachment. Attachment to outcomes, to approval, to perfection. When you are bound to the need of getting it right the first time, you will never give yourself permission to start. But when you detach from the pressure of perfection, suddenly your spirit is free to create, to imagine, to build. Creativity is not about control. It's about release. Some of the greatest ideas never see the light of day because people are afraid of failing in front of others. They're attached to what people will think, what they will say, how they will judge. And so they bury their gifts in the graveyard of fear. Fear. But when you detach from opinion and judgment, you set your imagination free. You realize, I don't have to be perfect. I just have to begin. Peace turns you into a lighthouse for others who are lost in the storm. That is why the greatest leaders, the greatest visionaries, the greatest warriors are not those who panic under pressure, but those who panic under pressure, but those who carry peace as their weapon. So I ask you, do you live as a storm chaser reacting to every wave, or as a storm anchor rooted in peace? Because peace is not just a feeling, it's a declaration. It says, I know who I am, I know whose I am, and no matter what shakes around me, I will not be moved. That kind of peace is not passive, it's power. And the moment you embrace it, you step into a strength that no chaos can steal. Expansion of key point 6 in 6 paragraphs. Purpose does not ask for permission to exist. It is not validated by applause, nor diminished by silence. Purpose is eternal, planted in you before the world had a chance to judge you. And yet so many people bury their calling because they are chained to opinions. Opinions that shift like the wind. Opinions that rise today and vanish tomorrow. Hear me clearly. The moment you detach from people's opinions, you step into the unshakable ground of your purpose. See, opinions are cheap, but purpose is priceless. People will praise you one day and doubt you the next. They will celebrate you in public and criticize you in private. If your life is tied to their voices, you will ride an emotional roller coaster that never ends. But when you detach, when you say, my life is not up for a vote, my destiny is not on trial, you begin to live differently. You stop moving at the speed of approval, and you start walking at the pace of destiny. Too many dreams have died because someone said, that's impossible. Too many visions have been aborted because someone laughed, you're not capable. And too many lives have been wasted because someone whispered, "What will people think?" But let me remind you, purpose is not birthed in their mouths. It is birthed in your soul. And the only opinion that can limit it is the one you believe. Detachment from their opinions is what gives your purpose space to breathe. Think of an eagle. If it listened to the chatter of crows, it would never soar. Crows make noise, but eagles rise above the noise. Purpose is the same. If you live low enough, opinions will always reach you. But the moment you rise in detachment, you discover that noise cannot touch you at the altitude of your calling. Your purpose thrives when you stop flapping for approval and start soaring in silence. And hear me, purpose will not always look popular. Sometimes your assignment will make you misunderstood. Sometimes your vision will make people uncomfortable. Sometimes your calling will lead you down roads where no one claps for you. But that's when you must remember, purpose does not need to be liked. It needs to be lived. Detachment gives you the courage to keep moving even when the world doesn't understand. So I ask you, are you living for purpose or for opinions? Because one will exhaust you, but the other will expand you. One will chain you, but the other will free you. And the moment you choose to detach from what they think, you will discover that your purpose not only survives without their approval, it thrives beyond it. And when you live from that truth, nothing and no one can stop you. Expansion of key points 7 in 6 paragraphs. Resilience is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. And that strength to rise again is born in detachment. When you are tied to outcomes, when you are chained to expectations, when you are consumed by the fear of failure, every setback feels like the end. But when you detach, when you stop making failure your identity, you gain the freedom to bounce back. Detachment says, this may have happened to me, but it does not define me. That is the seed of resilience. Every resilient soul you admire has mastered the art of letting go. They let go of how they thought life should be. They let go of who they thought would stay. They let go of the timelines they once clung to. And in that release, they discovered a new power to keep going. Resilience is not perfection. It is persistence. It is the strength to keep walking when your legs are tired, the courage to keep believing when evidence says quit, and the faith to keep standing when everything around you has fallen. Think about it. When you hold too tightly to the idea that you can never fail, failure destroys you. But when you detach from the fear of falling, you discover the freedom to rise. You realize that every setback is a setup, every breakdown is a breakthrough in disguise, and every loss is a lesson that equips you for greater. Detachment allows you to take the hit, feel the pain, but still say, this will not be the end of me. This will be the beginning of a stronger me. Resilience is not just about surviving storms, it's about learning how to grow in them. And that's only possible when you detach from the illusion of control. You can't control who stays, who leaves, who believes, who doubts, but you can control your decision to rise again. Detachment is what shifts your focus from what you cannot change to what you can. And that shift is what keeps you moving forward when others give up. The truth is, the most unbreakable people are not the ones who never bend. They are the ones who bend but do not break. They adapt, they adjust, they endure. And they endure because they are not clinging to how life must look. They are open to how life can unfold. Detachment makes you flexible, and flexibility makes you resilient. You stop demanding perfection from life, and you start embracing growth from every experience. So I ask you, what would happen if you stopped attaching your worth to the outcome and started attaching it to your persistence? What would happen if you stopped fearing the fall and started celebrating your rise? Because the truth is, life will test you, life will stretch you, life will knock you down. But if you live detached from fear, you will rise every single time. That is resilience. That is power. That is the unshakable spirit within you. Conclusion of the speech, so here we are. We've walked through the truth that detachment brings clarity, that letting go is strength, That confidence flows from alignment. That creativity is unlocked when fear is released. That peace is the proof of power. That purpose thrives beyond opinions. And that resilience is born in the freedom to rise again. Every principle has been leading to this moment, this choice, because the question that echoes over everything we've spoken is simple. What if you can? What if you can release what's been weighing you down? What if you can step into a level of confidence and clarity you've never known? What if you can create, lead, inspire, and live in such a way that your life becomes the answer to somebody else's prayer? Understand this. Life is not asking you if it's easy. Life is asking you if you're willing. Purpose doesn't come to those who cling. It comes to those who release. Destiny doesn't crown the fearful. It crowns the faithful. And the faithful are those who stand up again and again with resilience in their spirit and courage in their chest, declaring, I may not have all the answers, but I know one thing, I can. So I challenge you, stop living in the prison of fear. Stop shrinking under the weight of opinion. Stop waiting for the perfect time. The perfect time is now. The perfect person is you. And the perfect question is not, what if I fail? But what if I can? When you walk out of this moment today, I want you to walk with a new posture. Shoulders back, head high, spirit grounded, because you're no longer bound by fear, no longer enslaved by doubt, no longer chained by the voices of others. You are free, you are strong, you are ready. And the world is waiting for the version of you that finally believes I can. So go ahead, live it, breathe it, embody it. Let your life be the evidence of this truth. Because when you detach, when you align, when you rise in peace, purpose, and resilience, there is nothing left to hold you back. You'll look at the impossible, and with faith in your heart, you'll declare, well, what if I can? Watch me, because I will.